Hola a todos, bienvenidos a otro video para aprender inglés. Hoy les contaré una historia muy emotiva. Es sobre una mujer mayor que encuentra a un perro perdido. Escuchen con atención. Pausen después de cada oración y repitan conmigo. Esta práctica se llama shadowing. Les ayudará a hablar inglés con más confianza. ¿Están listos? Empecemos.
My name is Elena. I am 62 years old. I live alone in a small apartment on the edge of the city. Life has been quiet for me. I retired a few years ago. Most days feel the same. I drink tea in the morning, read a book, and sometimes watch the people outside my window. Evenings are the hardest. When the sun sets, the silence in my apartment feels heavy. Sometimes I listen to the ticking of the clock on the wall. It is the only sound that keeps me company. One cold evening, I put on my coat and scarf. I needed bread and milk, so I walked to the small store on the corner. The streetlights glowed softly, and the air was sharp with winter frost. At the entrance to the store, I noticed a dog. It was sitting quietly by the door, its head low, its fur dirty, its eyes full of sadness. People walked past it quickly. Some didn't even see it. Others frowned, afraid the dog might follow them. But the dog didn't move. It just sat there, waiting, as if hoping someone would notice. My heart ached. I stood there for a moment, watching it. Then I went inside the store. I bought bread, milk, and on impulse, a small pack of sausages. When I came out, the dog was still there. Its eyes met mine. I tore open the package of sausages, broke them into pieces, and placed them on the ground. The dog's tail wagged slowly, then faster. It ate hungrily, but with such gentleness, as if it didn't want to scare me. At that moment, I felt something warm inside me, something I hadn't felt in years. No one came to claim the dog. So, after a few minutes of hesitation, I whispered softly, "Come with me." To my surprise, the dog stood up and followed me down the street, step by step, as if it already belonged to me. When we reached my apartment, I opened the door. The dog looked at me once more, then walked inside. I gave it water, an old blanket, and made a little bed in the corner of the room. That night, for the first time in years, I wasn't alone. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of paws on the floor. The dog was waiting by the door, wagging its tail. I smiled. "Good morning," I whispered. I decided to look for its owner. The dog couldn't be truly homeless. Someone must be missing it. I printed posters. "Found dog near the store. Please call if it is yours." I described its appearance carefully and wrote my phone number at the bottom. I walked around the neighborhood, taping the posters to walls and poles. I felt hopeful. Surely someone would call soon. But days passed, then weeks. Nobody called. During that time, the dog and I became close. I named him Lucky. He followed me everywhere. When I cooked, he sat quietly by my feet. When I read, he rested his head on my lap. When I came home from errands, he wagged his tail wildly, happy just to see me. My apartment no longer felt empty. For the first time in years, I had someone waiting for me. I began to talk to Lucky, telling him little stories from my past, my dreams, my memories. He listened in silence, his eyes calm and full of trust. I started to take longer walks, just because Lucky loved them. Children in the park ran up to pet him. Neighbors smiled at me more often. Even strangers stopped to say hello. It was as if the whole world had changed. But maybe it was just me. Maybe I was finally smiling again. Then, one evening, my phone rang. The number was unknown. I picked it up. A man's voice said, "Hello. I think you found my dog. His name is Max." My heart sank. I froze. For a moment, I couldn't speak. Then I whispered, "Yes, I found him." The owner had finally appeared, and I knew what that meant. The next day, the man came to my apartment. His name was John. He was in his 40s, with kind eyes and a tired smile. When the dog saw him, it jumped with joy. It barked, ran in circles, and wagged its tail faster than ever. It was clear they loved each other. I smiled, but inside, I felt broken. "Thank you for taking care of him," John said. I nodded silently. Then I handed him the leash. Tears filled my eyes. As I watched them walk away, my home suddenly felt empty again. But John looked back at me, and he understood. "If you want," he said gently, "you can visit Max sometimes." And so I did. I visited Max many times. Each time, he greeted me with the same joy as before. He jumped, he wagged his tail, he licked my hands as if saying, "I didn't forget you." Slowly, I became friends with his owner too. We had tea together, walked the dog together, and shared little stories about life. I realized something. Sometimes one small act of kindness opens the door to unexpected connections. One afternoon, there was a knock on my door. When I opened it, John stood there, holding a box in his hands. Inside was a small puppy. Its eyes were bright, its ears too big for its head. It looked at me and whimpered softly. "For you," he said with a smile. so you will always have a friend by your side. I took the puppy in my arms. Its fur was soft and warm. It licked my hand. Tears rolled down my face, but this time they were happy tears. Lucky was gone, but I had a new companion, and perhaps a new chapter in life. That day I learned something important. Sometimes kindness brings unexpected gifts. Sometimes helping a lost dog can lead you to find love, friendship, and even a new family.
Ahora vamos a practicar juntos. Lee la historia otra vez, despacio. Repitan cada oración después de mí. Esto les ayudará a mejorar su inglés y a sentirse más seguros. Gracias por ver el video. Nos vemos en el próximo video para aprender inglés.